Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to WXMS's live radio broadcast of It's a Wonderful Life. Our show this evening is being broadcast from coast to coast, and you are part of the audience's listening pleasure, so feel free to applaud, laugh, cry, or swoon as the Spirit moves you. Our story begins in the town of Bedford Falls, New York, where a number of people in town are praying for their dear friend, a typical American dreamer named George Bailey.
Dear God, please look over my husband, George.
George is a good boy. You know that. He always gone out of his way to help others. Now it's him who needs the help.
Help my big brother, George. He's done so much for us all. More for me than I can remember.
I remember all the times he stayed late after work and never asked for a cent. The world needs more like George Bailey.
At times like these, I can't help thinking it's all my fault. Help him, God. It's me who's putting him through all this.
Something's the matter with Daddy.
Should we pray for him, Molly?
Yes, Suzu. Pray. Pray very hard.
The voices carry heavenward and reach Joseph, the superintendent of angels, who summons an apprentice angel, Clarence.
You sent for me, sir.
Yes, a man on earth needs our help.
Splendid. Is he sick?
No, worse. He's discouraged at exactly 10:45 tonight, Earth time. That man will seriously think about throwing away God's greatest gift.
Oh, dear, dear. His life? Then I've only an hour to dress. What are the fashions nowadays?
You will spend an hour getting acquainted with George Bailey.
Sir, if I should accomplish this mission, might I perhaps win my wings? I mean, it's been 200 years and people are beginning to talk.
Well, you do a good job with George Bailey, and we'll think about your wings. Now, if you're going to help George, you'll need to know a few things about him. Look, see the town?
Why, yes, a group of young boys sledding down a snow-covered hill and onto the ice. Looks like fun.
Yippee!
Who's that?
That's your problem. George Bailey, that's him when he was 12, back in 1919. Something happens here that you'll have to remember later on.
And here comes the scaredy cat, my kid brother Harry.
I'm not scared. Yippee!
Help! Help! Oh, dear. Harry's fallen through the ice.
I'm coming, Harry.
So, his brother fell through the ice, but George saved him.
Yes, Clarence. And ever since, George had a bad ear. All that icy water, you understand? The other event came a few months later. George took an after-school job at Old Man Gower's drugstore.
It's me, Mr. Gower, George Bailey.
You're late.
Yes, sir.
Hello, George. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Violet.
I like Georgie.
You like every boy.
What's wrong with that?
Did you girls want something?
I'll take some chocolate ice cream.
With coconut?
I don't like coconut.
You don't like coconut? Do you know where coconuts come from? Look at here. Tahiti, the Fiji Islands, the Coral Sea.
What's that you've got there? A new magazine?
Only us explorers get it. I've been nominated for membership in the National Geographic Society. Here, let me get your ice cream.
Is this the ear you can't hear in?
George Bailey, I'll love you till the day I die.
I'm going out exploring someday, you watch. I'm going to see the world and have all kinds of adventures.
George!
Yes, sir?
You're not paid to be a canary.
Yes, sir.
Goodbye, George.
Goodbye, Mary.
What was that piece of paper George just picked up?
It's a telegram. Mr. Gower found out this morning that his son died of the flu.
Oh, that's awful.
Yes, and he's been drowning in his grief and whiskey all afternoon.
Mr. Gower, anything I can do back here for you? Oh, I'll get them, sir.
Take those capsules over to Mrs. Blaine's.
Right away, sir. They're for diphtheria, right?
Get going.
But Mr. Gower, I think that you put something wrong in those capsules.
Who do you think you're talking to?
You're hurting my bad ear. Mr. Gower, you put something wrong in those capsules. It's poison.
Poison? Poison? Oh, George. George!
I won't tell anyone, Mr. Gower, I promise. Cross my heart and hope to die. I won't.
Did he ever tell anyone about those pills?
Not a soul.
Did he ever marry the girl? Did he ever go exploring?
Well, we'll get there soon enough. When George grew up, he wanted to go to college, but there wasn't enough money. So he worked for 4 more years at the Building and Loan Association.
The Building and Loan Association?
George's father was in the building and loan business, along with George's Uncle Billy.
George, what's the combination to the safe?
We wrote it down so you wouldn't forget it.
Oh, that's right. Where?
Your wallet, Uncle Billy.
Who's that?
That's Henry Potter, the richest and meanest man in all the county.
Peter! Potter's here.
Mr. Bailey, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Bailey. There is nothing quite so loathsome as a family business. Now, Peter, you know what I'm here for. I'm on a very tight schedule. A family to evict at 3.
Oh, okay, Mr. Potter. Here's the thing. I just need a little more time. I'll dig up that $5,000 somehow.
Have you put any real pressure on those people of yours to pay their mortgages?
Times are hard, Mr. Potter. A lot of people are out of work.
Then foreclose.
I can't do that. These families have children.
They're not my children. Are you running a business or at a charity ward? Either way, you're not doing it with my money.
Mr. Potter, what makes you such a rotten egg? You can't even begin to spend all the money you've got.
So I suppose I should give it to miserable failures like you and your idiot brother to spend it for me, huh?
He's not a failure. Don't let him say that about you, Pop.
All right, son. I'll see you later.
What kind of business are you running here? Good God, man.
George worked for his father, saving enough money to send him to college. The summer before he wanted to do little traveling, Old Man Gower surprised him with a great big gift for his travels. On the way home from the store, he ran into 2 of his friends, Ernie the cab driver and Bert the cop.
Hey, Ernie.
Hey, George.
Hi, Bert.
Hey, what you got in that suitcase?
Oh, I'm a rich tourist today. How about driving me home in style?
Sure, Your Highness. Hop in my fancy carriage.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bailey. Looks like you're ready to get out of here.
Hello, Violet. Hey, you look good. That's some dress you've got on there.
Oh, this old thing. I only wear it when I don't care how I look. See you later, alligator.
Wanna come along, Bert? We'll show you the town. No thanks. Gotta go home and see what the wife's doing.
George's bags were packed.
Boy, oh boy. It's hard to believe it's my last night at the Bailey boarding house.
Hey, George, can I borrow your tuxedo?
Help yourself, Harry.
Is it in your suitcase?
I'm not taking my tuxedo with me.
Say, where'd you get this fine piece of luggage anyway?
From Mr. Gower, a going-away present. And one day you're going to see it covered in all kinds of travel labels. Italy, France, Egypt.
Hey, why don't you come to the dance tonight?
What, be bored to death?
You couldn't want a better death. Lots of pretty girls. Oh well, I gotta run.
Oh, I wish we could send Harry to college with you, George.
We have that all figured out. Harry's going to take my job at the Building and Loan, work there for 4 years, and then he'll go.
So I suppose you've decided what you're going to do when you get out of college.
Well, what I've always talked about. Building things, designing new buildings, planning modern cities.
I know it's just a hope, but you wouldn't consider coming back to the Building and Loan, would you?
I couldn't face being cooped up in that shabby little office. I'm sorry, Pop, but I'd go crazy. I want to do something big and important.
You know, George, I feel that in some small way are doing something big and important.
I know, Dad, but all of my friends have already finished college. I feel that if I don't get away, I'm gonna bust.
You're right, boy. You get yourself an education, then get out of here.
Hey, I think I'm gonna go down to Main Street. Last night in town and all.
Have a good time, son.
Hello, Georgie Porgy.
Hello, Vi.
Where are you going?
Oh, I'll probably just end up at the library.
Georgie, don't you ever get tired of just reading about things?
Sure. Hey, what are you doing tonight?
Not a thing.
What do you say, Violet? You want to have some fun? Are you game, Vi? Should we make a night of it?
I'd love it, Georgie. What'll we do?
Let's go out in the fields and take off our shoes and walk in the grass.
Huh?
Then we'll go to Stewart Lake. It's beautiful up there in the moonlight, and we can swim. Then we can climb Mount Bedford and smell the pines and watch the sun rise against the peaks, and we'll stay up there the whole night.
George, have you gone crazy? Walk in the grass with my bare feet. Why, it's 10 miles up to Mount Bedford. You have a strange notion of fun.
Okay, just forget about the whole thing.
Forget about what, George?
Nothing, Sam.
You remember Mary.
Hi, George.
Hi, Mary.
Say, you wouldn't mind walking Mary home, would you, George?
Of course not.
Great, thanks.
So, George walked Mary home. Is that important, Joseph?
I'd say it is. Because even though Mary lives 4 blocks away, it took them 2 hours to get there.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. On the way is the bluebird, here to stay is the bluebird. Sings the love song while we stroll along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman. We'll pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, "Are you married?" We'll say, "No, man, but you can do the job when you're in town." Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland.
Boy, oh boy. Hot dog. Gee whiz. You sing like an angel.
You're not so bad yourself.
You know, if it wasn't me talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Well, why don't you say it?
Maybe I will. Hey, look where we are.
The old Granville house.
I've got to throw a rock.
Oh, don't. I love that old house.
Don't you know about deserted houses? You make a wish, and then you throw a rock.
But, George, it's such a lovely old place. I wish I lived there.
In there? I wouldn't live in there if I was a ghost. Now, watch this.
What's your wish, George?
I've got a whole hatful, Mary. I'm shaking the dust of this crummy old town off my feet, and I'm going to see the world. Then I'm going to college to see what they know. Then I'm going to build things. I'm going to build skyscrapers 100 stories high. I'm going to build bridges a mile long. Hey, are you going to throw a rock too? Hey, that's pretty good. What'd you wish for, Mary?
If I tell you, I'm afraid it may not come true.
Hey, come on. What do you want, huh? Do you want the moon, huh? All you gotta do is say the word. I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. And then I'd... Hey, am I talking too much?
Yes. Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
Who's that?
Old man Collins on his front porch.
Ah, why is youth wasted on the young?
Hey, old man, come back out here. Come out here and I'll show you some kissing. I'll show you some kissing that'll put the hair back on your head.
George! George!
Uncle Billy?
George, get in the car quick. Your father's had a stroke.
Oh, sorry, Mary. I've got to go.
George's father died that night, Clarence. So of course George couldn't go to Europe. Just as he was getting ready to leave for college, the directors of the building and loan held a meeting.
I want the board to know that George here gave up his trip to Europe so that we could get things straightened out here, and we greatly appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to get to my real purpose. I contend that this institution is not really necessary to this town. I make a motion to dissolve the building and loan.
It's too soon after Peter Bailey's death to discuss dissolving the building and loan. It was his faith and devotion that are responsible for this organization.
I'll go further than that. I'll say that to this town, Peter Bailey was the building and loan.
That's rich coming from you, Potter, considering you probably drove him to his grave.
Peter Bailey was not a businessman. That's what killed him. I don't mean any disrespect to him, God rest his soul. He was a man of so-called high ideals, but ideals without common sense can ruin a town. What does that get us? A discontented, lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class. And all because a few starry-eyed dreamers like Peter Bailey stirred them up and filled their heads with a lot of impossible huey. Now I say...
Now hold on, Mr. Potter. You're right when you say that my father was no businessman. I know that. But in the 25 years since he and Uncle Billy started this thing, he never once thought of himself. Isn't that right, Uncle Billy?
Got that right.
He helped a few people get out of your slums, Mr. Potter. And what's wrong with that? Do you know how long it takes for a man to save $5,000? Just remember this, Mr. Potter. This rabble that you're talking about does most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? My father didn't think so. People were human beings to him. But to you, a sick, frustrated old man, they're cattle. Well, in my book, my father died a far richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book. I'm talking about the building and loan.
I know very well what you're talking about. You're talking about something you can't get your fingers on, and it's galling you. Well, do what you want with this thing.
They're just coming out of the board meeting. I'll have to call you back. What happened, George? All I heard was a lot of yelling.
Boy, oh boy, Matilda, you should have heard George. George, get out of here. You missed your trip. Do you want to miss college too? Don't worry about the board. They're putting us out of business. So what? I can get another job. I'm only 55.
You're 58, but who's counting?
George, we're still in business. The board voted Potter down.
Whoopee, we're still in business. We're still in business.
But there's one condition, George. They've appointed you to take your father's place.
Appoint me, but I'm going to college. I'm leaving. I'm leaving right now. I'm going to school. This is my last chance.
But, George, you've got to take it. They'll vote with Potter otherwise.
So, George Bailey didn't go to college.
That's right, Clarence. He gave all of his college money to his brother Harry.
But what happened to that pretty girl, Mary?
Oh, George saw her now and then. Not very often, though. Because Mary went away to college, too. George waited for 4 more years for Harry to come back and take over the building and loan. Then he could still see the world.
There she blows. Say, Uncle Billy, you know what the 3 most wonderful sounds on earth are?
Breakfast is served, lunch is served, dinner is served.
No. Anchor chains, plane motors, and train whistles. Here's the college professor now.
Well, if it isn't George Geographic Explorer Bailey. Uncle Billy, you haven't changed a bit.
Nobody ever changes around here. You know that.
Harry, am I ever glad to see you. Come on, let's go.
Wait, let me introduce you to Ruth Dakin.
Ruth Dakin Bailey, if you don't mind.
Huh?
Well, I wired you I had a surprise. Here she is. Meet the wife.
Well, what do you know? A wife.
Congratulations, Harry. Why didn't you tell somebody? What's a pretty girl like you marrying this 2-headed brother of mine?
Well, I'll tell you. It's purely mercenary. My father offered him a job.
Oh, he gets you and a job. Harry's cup runneth over. Come on, Ruth. Let's start ahead and leave the bags for the fellas.
All right.
George, about that job. Ruth spoke out of turn. I never said I'd take it. I've been holding the bags here for 4 years, and well, I'm not going to let you down.
No, it's all right, Harry. It's all right.
And that night, Harry's homecoming became his wedding party, and Uncle Billy familiarized himself with the spirits.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I feel so good I could spit in Potter's eye. I think I will. Maybe I should go home. Can you point me in the right direction?
Right down there.
Right there, huh? Okay, old building and loan pal. See you later. I'm all right. I'm all right.
George,
Yeah, I'm out here on the porch, Mother. I just thought I would get some air.
well, how do you like the new sister-in-law?
She's swell.
George, did you know that Mary Hatch is back from school?
Yeah.
Nice girl, Mary.
Uh-huh.
Oh, stop grumbling. Give me one good reason why you shouldn't call Mary.
Well, Sam Wainwright. Sam's crazy about her.
Well, Mary's not crazy about Sam. Besides, Sam is away in New York City, and you're here in Bedford Falls.
All right, Mother. I'll go and find the girl and do some passionate necking with her.
Oh, George!
Goodbye, Mrs. Bailey. Do you want any books from the library?
The library? For God's sakes, George, you go and see Mary. You hear me?
Hello, George.
Hello, Mary. I just happened to be passing by.
Your mother just phoned and said you were on your way to pay me a visit.
My mother called you. I swear, I went for a walk, that's all.
Would you like to come in?
Well, I guess, since I'm here. Say, where'd you get that dress?
Do you like it?
Sure, it's the bee's knees. So, I thought you'd go back to New York with Sam and the rest of your friends.
I guess I was homesick.
Homesick for Bedford Falls?
Yes, and my family and everything. Would you like to sit down?
All right, for just a minute.
It was nice to hear about Harry and Ruth, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Don't you like her?
Sure, I like her. She's a peach.
So it's just marriage in general that you're not overly enthusiastic about?
No, marriage is okay for Harry and Ruth and maybe Sam Wainwright and you.
Mary! Mary! Who's out there with you?
It's George Bailey, Mother.
George Bailey? What does he want? You tell him to go right home. Sam Wainwright promised to call you from New York City tonight, didn't he?
I didn't come here to, well, you know.
Well, what did you come here for?
Gosh, I don't know. You tell me.
Why don't you just go home, George?
That's just where I'm going. I don't know why I came here in the first place.
Mary, the telephone.
I'll get it. Hello, Sam. How are you?
Great, gee whiz. It's good to hear your voice again.
That's awfully sweet of you, Sam. There's an old friend of yours that's here. George Bailey?
Old Mossback George?
Yes, old Mossback George.
That's a hoot. Put him on for a minute.
George, Sam wants to speak with you.
Hello, Sam.
Hey, a fine pal you are. What are you trying to do? Steal my girl?
What do you mean? Nobody's trying to steal your girl.
I'm just teasing you, George. But I want to talk to both of you.
We can both hear you. We're listening, Sam.
I have a big deal coming up that's going to make us all rich.
Yeah?
My father is going to build a factory in Bedford Falls. George, I may have a job for you. Mary?
I'm here.
You tell that guy standing next to you I'm giving him a chance of a lifetime.
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Give me that phone. Now you listen to me, Mary. I don't want any job, and I don't want to get married to anyone ever. You understand? I want to do what I want to do. You're not going to. You. Oh, Mary.
George?
Oh, Mary. I love you.
I love you too, George.
We'll return to WXMS's production of It's a Wonderful Life in just a few moments. But first, gentlemen, does your hair resemble a dried out bird's nest full of dandruff flakes? Does your hair smell like a hobo in a back alley?
Ew, what a stink.
When girls get a gander at the tip top of your noggin, do they respond by saying,
Ew.
here's a friendly tip that might just help you out in the romance department. Starting tomorrow, why not try out Bremel Hair Tonic? Yes, sirree, you'll be heading for success with a Bremel groomed hairdo. You'll be a success on the job and with the dames. Your hair is always right in place with Bremel Hair Tonic. Bremel the Swank Hair Tonic makes your filthy bird's nest gleam. A little dab will do ya. All the pretty girls will scream. Not only will dames love it, your barber will shout out with glee. Bremel the Swank Hair Tonic, your dandruff will be history. And now back to It's a Wonderful Life.
George and Mary were married, and following the wedding and reception, George's old pal, Ernie the cab driver, drove the happy couple to the train station.
Hey now, where are you two going on this honeymoon?
Oh, we're going to shoot the works, Ernie. A whole week in New York, a whole week in Bermuda. The nicest hotels, the sweetest champagne, the richest caviar, the hottest music, and the prettiest wife.
Here's the kitty, Ernie. $2,000. I feel like a bootlegger's wife.
Hey George, look over there. There's something funny going on. It looks like a run on the bank.
Huh? Pull over a minute, will you, Ernie? I better see what it is. I'll be right back.
George, please, let's go.
Hey!
What is this, Uncle Billy, a holiday? Why are the doors locked? There's a crowd out front.
This is a pickle, George.
What happened?
The bank called our loan. I had to hand out all of our cash.
Holy mackerel.
And then I got scared, George, and I closed the doors.
Our charter says we need to stay open until 6 o'clock or we'll lose our license. Hello?
George, there's a rumor around town that you shut your doors. Is that true?
No, it's not.
Now, George, I'm going to help out in this crisis. I've just guaranteed the bank sufficient funds to meet their needs. I'm willing to guarantee your people, too. Just tell them to bring their shares over here, and I will pay 50 cents on the dollar.
You don't miss a trick, do you, Potter? Well, you're going to miss this one.
If you close your doors before 6 p.m., you will never reopen.
He just took over the bank, Billy.
Hey! Hey!
Open the doors, let them in.
Hey!
Now, just remember that this thing isn't as black as it appears. I've just talked to Old Man Potter, and he's guaranteed cash payments at the bank.
How about your money, George? Where's your money?
Your money's not here. Your money's in people's houses. Your houses and 100 others.
I've got $242 in here.
All right, Charlie, all right. Now you'll get your money in 60 days.
60 days?
Well, now that's what you agreed to when you bought your shares.
I got my money, old man. Doctor will give me 50 cents for every dollar.
Now, wait a minute, folks. Please don't leave. If Potter gets a hold of your shares, he'll be owning this building and loan. We've got to stick together. We've got to have faith in each other.
My husband's out of work. He needs money. Can't feed my kids with faith.
How much do you need? We've got $2,000 from the wedding.
That's right, Mary. We've got $2,000 here. Charlie, how much do you need?
$242.
Oh, Charlie, how about just enough to get you by until the bank reopens?
I'll take $242.
Fine, all right. Ed, how much do you need to get by?
$20, I suppose.
Now we're talking. Mrs. Thompson, how about you?
But it's your own money, George.
Never mind that. How much do you want, Mrs. Thompson?
Could I have $17.50?
Oh, bless your heart. Of course you can. All right, who's next?
Look at the clock. Look.
5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. We made it! 6 o'clock!
Yay!
Woohoo! Yeah! Lock that door, Uncle Billy. Boy, we're still in business, and we've even got $2 left.
Bailey Brothers Building and... just a minute. George, there's a call for you.
Hey, will you get my wife on the phone then? She's probably over at her mother's.
Mrs. Bailey is on the phone.
I don't want Mrs. Bailey. I want my wife. Oh, Mrs. Bailey. That is my wife. Mary? Hello? Listen, dear, I'm sorry. What? Come home. What home? 320 Sycamore Street. Well, whose home is that? The Waldorf Hotel, you say? Very funny.
That doesn't look like the Waldorf, Joseph.
Oh no, 320 Sycamore was the old grandpa house, the one that George and Mary threw rocks at and made wishes in front of. Mary had prepared the house, including furnishings, her big turkey dinner, and even some romantic decorations.
Welcome home, Mr. Bailey.
Well, I'll be.
Remember the night we broke the windows in this old house? Well, this is what I wished for.
Darling, you're wonderful.
Yes, sir. That's where they spent their honeymoon. That's where they started their lives together. Mary taking care of the house and George toiling away building and loan.
How was work today, honey?
Oh, you know, another day, another dollar. Gee, Mary Hatch, why in the world would you ever want to marry a guy like me anyway?
To keep from being an old maid.
I was going to see the world. I was going to build things. I was going to give you the moon. What have I given you? Not even a new dress, not for months. You could have married Sam Wainwright, anyone else in town.
I didn't want to marry anyone else in town. I want my baby to look like you.
You didn't even have a honeymoon. You're what?
My baby.
You mean, Mary, you've got a bun in the oven?
Seems that George Bailey lassoed a storm.
Well, Mary had her baby, a boy.
You don't say.
Then she had a girl.
Well, what do you know?
Then came the war. Mary had another baby by then, but still had time to run the USO. Gower and Uncle Billy sold war bonds, Violet entertained troops, Bert the cop was wounded in North Africa. Ernie the taxi driver parachuted into France. Harry Bailey topped them all. A Navy flyer. He shot down 15 planes, 2 of them as they were about to crash into a transport full of soldiers.
Yes, but George, what about George?
George, 4F on his account of his ear.
We're getting pretty close to today, aren't we, sir?
Yes, Clarence.
Well, sir.
Well, today is the day before Christmas, and Billy was at the bank making a deposit when he was about run into Old Man Gower.
Well, Mr. Henry F. Potter. Come to the bank to deposit more loot, huh?
Sure, you old fool.
How do you like the news in the paper, Mr. Potter? Harry Bailey wins Congressional Medal of Honor. Just can't keep those Bailey boys down now, can ya?
Let me see that newspaper.
Sorry, I can't chat, you old thief. Gotta make a deposit.
Good morning, Mr. Bailey.
Good morning, Horace. Here you are, deposit slip, bank book, and a very Merry Christmas to you.
You too, Mr. Bailey. But say, haven't you forgotten something?
What's that?
Well, it's customary to bring the money with you for a deposit.
The money? It's gone. Where'd I put it? Where'd I put the money?
A terrible thing, Clarence. Terrible. Uncle Billy couldn't find the money because the envelope with the $8,000 was folded up in the newspaper that he gave to Old Man Potter. At the same time, Violet came to visit George in the building alone.
Oh, hello, Vi.
I suppose you're getting things set up at your house for the big party tonight.
You know you're invited. What's wrong?
You see right through me, don't you?
How much do you need?
I hate doing this to you, George, but I won't be asking for much more after this.
Why? You planning on robbing a bank, Vi?
I'm going to Manhattan.
What's in Manhattan?
Why, everything's in Manhattan. A new start, at least.
That's a big step, Vi. What's wrong with starting a new life right here in Bedford Falls?
Well, I'll be. I never thought I'd hear that from you, George Bailey. I thought you hated this place.
I did, but this town has a charm of its own.
You should give tours, maybe.
I'm just thinking of you, Violet. Manhattan's a big place to take on your own.
I've made my decision. There's a midnight train tonight, and I plan to be on it.
Here's some dough.
No, George, don't. That's too much.
What do you want to do when you get up there? Hawk your furs and then your hat? Do you want to walk to New York? You know they charge for meals and rent up there the same as they do here in Bedford Falls.
Yeah, sure.
It's a loan. That's my business, building and loan. Besides, you'll get a job. Good luck to you.
I'm glad I know you, George Bailey. Merry Christmas. George!
Uncle, what's going on?
The money, the deposit, the $8,000.
What, Uncle Billy? What happened to it?
I don't know. I was going to deposit, and when I went to the bank, I didn't have it.
$8,000. Uncle Billy, the bank examiner's in town, and it's not our money. It belongs to the depositors.
I'm so sorry, George. I just don't know what happened.
We have to retrace your steps. We'll leave no stone unturned.
And as George and Billy went looking for the deposit, Potter had a meeting with the state bank examiner, Miss Sadie Vance.
The whole town's turned upside down with the Bailey boys' homecoming. Can you imagine? Congressional Medal of Honor.
I guess people make a big deal about things like that.
May I look at your newspaper?
Go ahead.
This is a deposit from Bailey.
That old fool. Billy Bailey gave me that newspaper.
Well, you're going to deposit it for him, right, Potter?
To think he would make such a foolish mistake. Look how much there is in here.
There's $8,000 here.
What a Christmas present. And he doesn't even know it.
Just a minute here, Potter. I know you've been giving the Baileys a hard time for as far back as I can remember. The Baileys have always stood for something you've always wanted, and you're so jealous of. They're honest.
You're fired.
You can't fire me. I'm state appointed. And what's more, I'm not going to turn my back. This is stealing from the Baileys. Something like this would certainly cause them to fold.
Yes, and after 25 years. Well, finders keepers, you know that. He gave me the money. It was his own fault. There's not a court in the county that would find me guilty.
And we all know why.
When you visit the Baileys, you'll see the records. They'll be short. You know the rest. At last, the Baileys will be right where they belong. Down for good.
Uncle Billy, we've got to find that money.
I'm no good to you, George.
Do you know what this means? It means bankruptcy and scandal and prison. One of us is going to jail, and it's not going to be me.
Hello, darling.
Daddy, did you bring the wreath?
What wreath?
The Merry Christmas wreath for the window.
I left it at the office.
Where's your coat and hat?
Left them at the office, too.
What's the matter?
Nothing's the matter. Everything's all right.
Isn't it wonderful about Harry? We're famous, George. I'll bet you I had 50 calls today about the parade and the banquet. Your mother's so excited she...
Must she keep playing that?
I have to keep practicing for the party tonight, Daddy.
Mommy says we can stay up until midnight singing Christmas carols.
Can you sing, Daddy?
Better hurry up and save, George. The families will be here soon.
Families? I don't want the families over here.
Excuse me.
Did you have a hectic day, dear?
Oh, yeah. It was a real big red-letter day for the Baileys.
Daddy, the Browns next door have a new car. You should see it.
Well, what's the matter with our car? Isn't it good enough for you?
Yes, Daddy.
Excuse me, excuse me.
Excuse you for what?
I burped.
All right, darling, you're excused. Now go upstairs and see what little Zuzu wants.
What's the matter with Zuzu?
Oh, she got a cold. Caught it coming home from school. They gave her a flower for a prize, and she didn't want to crush it, so she didn't button up her coat. The doctor says it's nothing serious.
The doctor was here?
I called him right away.
Does she have a temperature?
Just a teensy one.
Gosh, it's this old house. I don't know why we don't all have pneumonia. This drafty old barn might as well be living in a refrigerator. Why did we have to live here in the first place and stick around this measly, crummy old town?
George, what is wrong?
Wrong? Everything's wrong. Why did we have to have all these kids? They get sick and...
Daddy, how do you spell frankincense?
I don't know. Ask your mother.
Where are you going?
Up to see Zuzu.
Hi, Daddy.
Well, what happened to you?
I want a flower. Some of the petals came off. Daddy, can you paste it back together?
Yeah, sure. I'll paste it together. There it is. Good as new. Now, will you do something for me?
What?
Will you try to get some sleep?
Okay, Daddy.
Telephone.
I'll get it. Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Bailey. Thank you, Mrs. Welch. The doctor says she'll be out of bed in time for Christmas dinner.
Is that Zuzu's teacher?
Yes.
Let me speak to her. Mrs. Welch, this is George Bailey. Say, what kind of a teacher are you anyway? Sending our child home half naked?
George!
Is this the kind of thing we pay taxes for? For silly, stupid, careless teachers who send our kids home without any clothes on?
George, give me that phone. Mrs. Welch, I want to apologize for my husband, George. Mrs. Welch? Mrs. Welch? She hung up.
I'll hang her up myself.
Daddy, how do you spell hallelujah?
Pete, what do you think I am, a dictionary? And Janie, haven't you learned that silly tune yet? You've played it 1,000 times. Now stop it! Stop it!
George, what are you doing?
Nothing!
Where's Daddy going?
Bedford 247, please?
Is Daddy in trouble?
Yes, Pete.
Shall I pray for him?
Yes, Janie. Pray very hard.
Should I pray too?
Yes, Tommy. You too. Hello? Uncle Billy?
So that's it, George? You're short $8,000 on the books? You say it was lost? Did you call the police?
No, I haven't done that yet. Harry's homecoming is tomorrow.
Why'd you come to me? What about your good friend, Sam Rainbright?
He's in Europe. I can't get a hold of him. Please, Mr. Potter, I'll pay any kind of interest.
What kind of security would I have, George? Have you got any collateral?
I have some life insurance, a $15,000 policy.
How much is your equity in it?
$500.
And you want $8,000? Look at you. You used to be so cocky. You were going to go out and conquer the world. You once called me a warped, frustrated old man. But what are you but a warped, frustrated young man? Crawling in here on your hands and knees for help. No securities, no stocks, no bonds. You're worth more dead than you are alive. Why don't you go to the riffraff you love so much and ask them for help?
Mr. Potter, please, for my wife and kids.
You know what I'm going to do? As a stockholder of the building and loan, I'm calling the state examiner to get a warrant for your arrest. Misappropriation of funds, manipulation, malfeasance.
Mr. Potter, don't.
Go on and run, George. You can't hide in a tiny little town like this. Merry Christmas, George. Ah ha 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 ha.
And now, more from our sponsors. Are you guilty of careless driving because windshield bug spots dull your vision?
Yes, I'm guilty.
Stop straining to see through a bug-splattered windshield. Duck's Toilet Cake gets the bugs off quickly, easily. Yes, even when the sun has baked them into the glass.
Remember, you need clear vision as well as good brakes to avoid accidents. You'll find that Duck's Toilet Cake leaves the glass polish so crystal clear you'll hardly know it's there.
I feel so much safer when I clean my windshield with Duck's Toilet Cake. It leaves no oily film to pick up dust and make night driving more difficult.
Duck's Toilet Cake, the soap of 100 uses. You better wash high, you better wash low, behind your ears too, I'm telling you so. Duck's Toilet Cake is cleaning uptown. It washes up cars, it washes up bars, and out in LA, it washes up stars. Duck's Toilet Cake is cleaning uptown. It's found in every bathroom, from sea to shining sea. It's used by our dear president, and it's used by you and me. Oh, you better wash high, you better wash low, behind your ears too, I'm telling you so. Duck's Toilet Cake is cleaning uptown. Buy a bar of Duck's Toilet Cake. Keep it in your car. And now the dramatic conclusion of It's a Wonderful Life.
Where's George, sir?
After running out of Potter's office, George ended up at the Martini's bar.
What's he saying? Who is he?
Dear God in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope.
Hey, you all right, George?
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Mr. Bailey, why you drinking so much? You don't look so good. Please, go home.
Fine, Mr. Martini. I'll leave all of you.
George is heading to the bridge now, Clarence.
It looks like he's going to jump.
It's time, Clarence.
Excuse me, you there. Have you got the time?
My watch is dead.
Thanks just the same. Help me! Help me! I can't swim!
Hold it, mister. I'm coming.
Hey, I'm the bridge keeper here. What in the name of Sam Hill are you two doing? This storm is not fit for man nor beast. Now get out of the water. Are you two all right?
I'm fine.
No, I'm fine. This underwear. I didn't have time to put on anything stylish. My wife gave me this underwear on my last birthday. Passed away in it.
Passed away in it?
You almost passed away. How do you happen to fall in?
Fall in? Oh, I jumped in. I jumped in to save you.
You jumped in to save me?
Well, I did, didn't I? You didn't go through with it.
Go through with what?
Taking your own life.
Hey, that's against the law around here.
It's against the law where I come from, too.
Where do you come from?
Heaven.
What?
I had to act quickly, that's why I jumped in. I knew that if I were drowning, you would try and save me. And you see, you did, and that's how I saved you.
Oh, so you're the answer to my prayer, huh?
That's right, George.
Hey, how do you know my name? What are you, a mind reader or something?
Oh, no.
Well then, who are you?
Clarence Oddbody, AS2.
Oddbody, AS2. What's that?
Angel second class.
I'm getting out of here. You may not need a doctor, but I do.
Hey, look here. Why do you want to save me?
Because I am your guardian angel. Ridiculous to think of killing yourself for money. $8,000.
Hey, how do you know about that?
I told you, I'm your guardian angel. I know everything about you.
Well, you look like the kind of angel I'd get. What happened to your wings?
I haven't gotten my wings yet. That's why I'm only an angel second class. But you can help me earn them by letting me help you.
You don't happen to have $8,000, do you?
Oh, no. We don't use money in heaven.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting. But it comes in pretty handy down here, bub. I found out too late. I'm worth more dead than alive.
Now look, you mustn't say things like that. I'll never get my wings with that attitude. You just don't know all that you've done. Why, if it hadn't been for you...
Yeah, if it hadn't been for me, everybody'd be a lot better off. My wife, my kids, my friends.
This isn't going to be easy.
They'd all be better off if I hadn't been born.
What did you say?
I said I wish I'd never been born.
George, that's wonderful!
Wonderful?
The idea you just gave me. Well, you got your wish. You were never born.
Never been born?
Exactly. No worries, no $8,000 to get. Nothing. You simply don't exist.
Hey, wait a minute. This ear of mine. Say something else in this ear.
You don't have a bad ear anymore. Don't you see? You're not the George Bailey you think you are. You're nobody.
Well, isn't that the doggonest thing? I need a drink. That's what I need. What about you, Angel? Do you want a drink?
Well, I don't know.
Come on, let's stroll over to Martini's then. Well, I'll stroll, you can fly.
I haven't gotten my wings yet.
Yeah, that's right. Well, after a couple of drinks, we'll both fly. Sit down, sit down. Hello, Nick. Well, Clarence, welcome to the best bar in all of Bedford Falls.
Bedford Falls? Don't you mean Pottersville?
Pottersville? Hey, where's Martini?
I don't know who you're talking about. I'm the boss here. You want a drink or don't you?
Sure, double bourbon.
What about you, bub?
I was thinking it would be delightful to sip some mulled wine.
What?
Heavy on the cinnamon and light on the cloves. Off with you, my lad, and lively now.
Look, mister, we serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast. We don't need any characters.
Just give him the same thing as I ordered.
2 double bourbons.
This place has really changed.
All of Bedford Falls has changed. Don't you remember? You're having your wish, George. You were never born. Oh, good. Somebody's just made it.
Made what?
Every time you hear a bell ring, it means its angel's got its wings.
What did you say?
Look, Clarence, I don't think you should talk about angels in here. Don't mind him, Nick. He just never grew up. How old are you anyway, Clarence?
293 next May.
That does it. Out you two pixies go. Out through the door or out through the window. Take your pick.
When you see Martini, will you tell him?
Stop asking about Martini. He isn't here. Well. Look who climbed out of whatever hole he's been hiding in.
Hey, it's Mr. Gower.
Hey, Rummy, didn't I tell you to never come in here panhandling again?
Mr. Gower, it's me, George Bailey. Do you remember me?
Buy me a drink, mister. Just one more drink.
Get out of here.
Hey, Nick, isn't that Mr. Gower, the druggist?
That rumhead spent 20 years in jail for poisoning some kid. If you know him, you must have been a jailbird yourself. Get out of here.
What's wrong with Mr. Gower?
Mr. Gower doesn't know you, George. You weren't there to stop him from putting poison into that prescription.
What do you mean I wasn't there? Why am I seeing all these strange things? Are you some kind of hypnotist or something?
Don't you understand? It's because you were never born. There is no George Bailey. You have no papers, no cards, no driver's license, no 4F card, no insurance policy.
Zuzu's petals.
What?
Zuzu's petals. My little girl, some petals fell off of her flower. I told her I'd fix it, and I stuck them in my pocket, but they're gone too. Everything's gone.
But you've been given a great gift, George. The chance to see what the world would be like if you had never been born.
You're crazy. You're crazy as a bedbug, and you're driving me crazy too. Now look, I'm going home to my wife and family, and I'm going home alone. Do you understand?
You know the drill. Hands behind your back, sister.
Keep your hands off me. Why don't you bust somebody else for a change?
Hey, officer, where did the building and loan move to?
The building and what?
The Bailey Building and Loan. It was right up there.
They went out of business years ago. All that's left is this burlesque house.
Not so fast, Copper. I know Potter.
Hey, Violet. Listen, officer, that's Violet Bick.
Oh, believe me, I know.
I know that girl.
Who doesn't? Now, get out of our way.
Hey, Ernie. Ernie, take me home. I'm going off my nut.
Where to?
Oh, doggone it, Ernie. Don't you pull this stuff too? You know where I live. 320 Sycamore. Now, hurry up.
320 Sycamore.
Yeah, that's right. Now, hurry up. Zuzu's sick.
All right.
Now, look here, Ernie. You gotta straighten me out. I think I drank some bad liquor or something. You're Ernie Bishop, and you live in Bailey Park with your wife and kid, right?
You seen my wife?
Seen your wife? I've been to your house 100 times.
Look, bud, what's the idea? I live in a shack in Pottersfield, and my wife ran away 3 years ago and took the kids. I ain't never seen you before in my life.
Okay, just get me home, please.
Is this the place?
Of course it's the place.
This house ain't been lived in for 12 years.
Mary, I'm home. Pete, Tommy, Janie, Zuzu, where are you?
They're not here, George. You have no children.
Where are they, Clarence? What have you done with them?
All right, put your hands up. Come out of there, both of you, and no fast moves.
Bert, thank heaven you're here. What's happened to my house? Where's Mary and my kids?
Come on now, mister. I'm going to take you down to the station.
Bert, listen to me. It's this fellow here. He says he's an angel. He's tried to hypnotize me.
Don't make me use my nightstick.
Bert, I hate to do this, but...
Run, George, run!
Ma Bailey's boarding house.
Well?
Mother?
Mother? What do you mean?
Mother, this is George. I thought you'd remember me.
George who? If you're looking for a room, there's no vacancy.
Oh, Mother. Mother, please try to understand. Something's happened to me. I don't know what it is, but I need a place to stay. Please let me stay here.
I don't take in strangers.
I'm not a stranger. I know everybody you know. Your brother-in-law, Uncle Billy.
You know Billy?
Sure I do.
When'd you see him last?
Today, over at his house.
That's a lie. He's been in the insane asylum ever since he lost his business. And if you ask me, that's where you belong.
I'm here again, George.
My own mother doesn't even know me.
Strange, isn't it? One man's life touches so many others, and when he isn't around, it leaves a pretty big hole, doesn't it?
Look, you. I've heard of things like this before. You've got me under some kind of a spell. Well, I'm gonna get out of it. I've got to. I've talked to Billy this afternoon. How can he be in an asylum? I've got to snap out of this. Bailey Park. I've got to get to Bailey Park.
There is no Bailey Park if you weren't here to build it.
We'll see.
This is Bailey Park. I don't think people live here. That would be pretty grim.
This is where Bailey Park's supposed to be. What are these gravestones doing here? Why's the Bailey name on them?
They're not yours.
My father's name is on one of them, but why is my brother Harry's name on the other?
Your brother broke through the ice and drowned at the age of 9.
That's a lie. Harry Bailey went to war. He saved the lives of every man on that transport. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Every man on that transport died. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. Don't you see, George? You really had a wonderful life. Don't you see what a mistake it would be to throw it all away?
What happened to Mary?
Mary?
My wife, Clarence. What happened to my wife, Mary, if I had never been born?
She's an old maid, George, about to close up at the library. There must be an easier way to earn my wings.
Is the library closed?
It's Christmas Eve. We can't stay open all night.
Can I ask you something?
I should really be getting home.
What is there to go home to?
It's not your business, sir. The library's closed. Maybe you should try back on Route 26.
Mary, I'm sorry.
How do you know my name?
All I need is a couple of minutes. I'm desperate. I'll do anything.
What is it?
Isn't this the town of Bedford Falls?
It used to be, but that was a long time ago. I was very young when Potter was elected and took the town along with the name for himself.
So you do know of a town called Bedford Falls?
I've seen some pictures. It looked like a very nice place. But things changed. Now look, I really have to go.
You're Mary Hatch. You live on Reed Street in a white Victorian house. Your bedroom is at the top of the stairs, turned to the left. You have an older brother, Marty, and you live with your mother, Edwina.
How do you know all this? What are you, some kind of crazy man? Stop it. I'm leaving.
Don't you know me? The house you wished for, 320 Sycamore? Don't you remember?
I told you, I don't know you. Now let me go.
Where are our kids, Mary? Mary, I need you, Mary. You're my wife.
Get out of here. Help, help, police.
Clarence, where are you? Help me, Clarence. Get me back. I don't care what happens to me. Just get me back to my wife and kids. Help me, Clarence. I want to live again. Please let me live again. Oh, God, let me live again.
George, is that you, George?
Get out of here, Bert. You get out of here. You come any closer and I'll hit you again.
What are you yelling for?
Oh, you know me now, Bert? You know my name?
Of course I know your name. I've been looking for you all over town. Where have you been?
Bert, I'm alive again.
Are you all right, George?
Am I all right? Zuzu's petals, they're right here in my pocket, right where I left them. Am I all right, Bert? Merry Christmas, Bert.
Well, Merry Christmas, George. Why don't you get in the car? I'll drive you home.
Sure thing, Bert, but do me a favor. Turn the siren on. Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. Merry Christmas, you old wonderful building and loan. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter. Yippee! Mary, I'm home. Hey, what's with all these reporters? Hey, Merry Christmas to you all.
There's a deficit, Mr. Bailey.
I know, $8,000.
I've got a little piece of paper. Here.
I bet I know what that is. A warrant for my arrest. Isn't life wonderful? Merry Christmas. Where's my wife? Look at this drafty old house. Isn't it wonderful? Where's Mary?
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Kids, Pete, Janie, Tommy, I could eat you up. Where's your mother?
She went looking for you with Uncle Billy.
Zuzu, my little ginger snap. How do you feel?
I'm fine, Daddy. Not a smidge of a temperature.
Not a smidge, huh? Hallelujah.
George, darling, where have you been?
Mary, you're real. You have no idea what happened to me.
You have no idea what's happened either, George. Come on, quick, they're on their way.
Who's on their way? The police department? The FBI? National Guard? Let them come. I don't care. I'm alive, Mary. I'm alive.
Now come on in here, George. Uncle Billy, come in here. Everybody, come in here.
Hey, whoa, hey, whoa.
George, Mary did it. Mary did it. She told a few people you were in trouble, and they scattered all over town collecting money. They didn't ask any questions. They just said, if George is in trouble, you can count me in. You never saw anything like it.
I wouldn't have a roof. I wouldn't have a roof over my head if it wasn't for you, George. Here you go, $242.
I busted the jukebox, George.
Mr. Gower?
I made all the rounds on my charging guns.
Violet, Vic.
I'm not going to go to Manhattan, George. I changed my mind.
I've been saving this money for a divorce, if I ever get a husband.
Merry Christmas, George.
Merry Christmas, Mother.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Just a minute. Quiet, everyone. Quiet. A telegram from London.
London?
Mr. Gower wired and said that you needed money. Stop. My office instructed and advanced you to $20,000. Stop. Sam Rainwright. Stop. Merry Christmas. Stop. George, how are you?
Harry.
Mary, looks like I got here too late. Mary, I got him here from the airport as quickly as I could.
What about your banquet in Washington, Harry?
I left in the middle of it, as soon as I got Mary's telegram.
How about some champagne?
Good idea. How about a toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town?
Yay!
George, something just fell out of your pocket.
Huh? It's a note.
What does it say?
George, remember that no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings. Love, Clarence.
Who's that?
A dear friend of mine.
Daddy, our teacher says that every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right, Zuzu. Attaboy, Clarence.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Now your virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds wait at the sun, glory stream from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah, Christ the Savior is born, Christ the Savior is born. This has been WXMS's presentation of It's a Wonderful Life. Brought to you this and every week by Bremel Hair Tonic and Duck's Toilet Cake. Stay tuned for a program of popular holiday music. And I'll introduce our cast. We have Hannah Domaleski over there on the end. Hannah Goodykunst. Young Bella, and I don't know your last name.
Johnson.
The typecast villain in every one of my productions, Tyler Grog. Austin Remick over here on the table. Brooks Kolb. And Ava Gardner. Oh, I mean my beautiful wife, Rhonda. Samantha Shook on this table. Lakai Zuniga and Ashley Cressman. Over there in the pit, we have Anthony Newitt and Peter McKeon on the bass and Tom Goodykunst on the skins. Back there, special effects, the Hornbakes, Alice and Will. And Mary Hatch, Eleanor Hornbake. And George Bailey, Frank Sinatra. Brandon Cressman. This is Freddie Fillmore signing off for WXMS in New York City and wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas! Yay!